Alright guys, still in Reykjavik, just a little bit off Ingolstorp. There's a little thing going on with kids, but we're going to have a revisit to Microbar, which I visited back in like 2014 or something like that. So we'll go downstairs, see how it is these days. So yeah, when you come in these days, you come in this door here, and you actually have to go downstairs in it now. It used to be at the back of one of the hotels, but it's quite nice this actually. They've done it up a little bit since I was here last time. They moved here 4 years ago. So you come down the stairs, lots of nice kegs of Icelandic beer, of course. But yeah, you come in through here. You know, really nice looking bar this actually. So yeah, it looks good. So yeah, you come up to the bar. They've got a nice little fridge over here, lots of different Icelandic beers, some Northern Monk and things, Borbrugghus of course, Geiringer up top, the Good Horse, I remember the name being, the Icelandic classic, the Lava from Ovesalt, a little bit of Belgian, Scottish, Swedish down there as well, but yeah, lots of nice whiskies and stuff like that, and some classic Icelandic beers. So I've got one here, the Tumi Humal, which I tried 5 years ago, and we'll have a little go at that and see how it is today. Alright guys, so we'll have a little look at the Tumi Humal. As I was mentioning earlier, this was one of the first Icelandic craft beers that I ever tried from Geiringer, and the guys who own this bar are also own Geiringer as well. They used to be based a little bit close to Akureyri, so it took them like 4 hours or so to get their beers down to Reykjavik, but now they're based just outside of Reykjavik, about 15-20 minutes or so away, and they've got a tap room up at the brewery as well that you can go and check out. But yeah, let's have a little look at this guy then, the Tumi Humal. You recognise this one with the horse label. It was always the purple one I remember in the bottle. But yeah, you can see IPA, this guy coming in at 6.5% IPA. I had to check the board there. But yeah, nice kind of pale goldeny colour this one. So yeah, let's dive into this one. Skal. Yeah, so I still remember this one being like really well balanced with the malt base and things. This is quite a bready sort of pale malty IPA. It doesn't have so much sweetness in the malt base, I think. This one's quite nice and thick and bready, and you can feel the malt base sort of drying out the further you go into the aftertaste, but it's quite a sort of classic old school one, this, you know, a lot of kind of floral, kind of nice sort of floral aromaticity to it, maybe even a little bit piney or something. If I was guessing the hops in this, I'd think maybe a little bit of Chinook, maybe a little bit of Cascade in there. I think it's a very sort of classic thing. There could, you know, Columbus might be the other one, but I don't think it's quite spicy enough to be Columbus. I always like playing guess the hops with these beers when you get the chance. But you know, it's a really just old school IPA that, like I say, you know, the sort of pale malts in there, it blankets the middle of your tongue. You can feel it dry out a little bit the further you go into the aftertaste. It's not kind of smooth enough, I think, to have wheaty malt in it. I think it's a very kind of straight up just pale malt base, this, which is nice. I mean, that was a very classic approach to IPAs for a good number of years. But yeah, this is really nice. When I first reviewed Geiringer, they had a wheat beer, they had a pale ale, which I think, if I remember correctly, was the green one. The wheat beer was the yellow label. This guy was the purple label. And I think there was one or two other ones that were just done on tap at the time. And I've heard that this tomorrow, the day after I'm filming this, the 1st of June, is going to be their 7th anniversary. So these guys opened their first bar up back in 2012, so they've been around a little while actually. So a little cause for celebration for the brewery at the moment, but it's cool to go back and try one of the original Icelandic beers that I tried. It's very, very straight up and very kind of classic, I think. So yeah, you know, if you get the chance to have a go at this beer, you know, do have a taste of it. I think it's in cans now. When I first reviewed it for you, that video will be about 5 years old now. It was only in the bottles, and I took a bottle back to Scotland to review, and it's still pretty damn good, I have to say. If you like a nice kind of classic old school IPA, this is one that is going to suit you. As I always say, you know, the fruity esters of the beer come out, you get that little oily bubble behind the front kind of curve of your palate there. And this one to me is it's pretty much straight up grapefruit. You can feel a little bit of a slightly more tropical note coming out of this one later on, You know, there's maybe like a little touch of like passion fruit or mangoes in there, but I do suspect this is Chinook and Cascade or something like that in there. There is a little bit of earthiness in the back corner of the palate too, which is interesting. But yeah, very straight up old school IPA this. If we're talking about the mouthfeel, for me, very kind of mid-bodied this one. Carbonation's quite smooth. One of the things I always think is great with the Icelandic beers, and I say the same about the Scottish beers too, but you really can taste just like how clean the water is here. I mean, Iceland obviously very, very volcanic environment. You know, the water that you get here does just, you can taste the quality of it, and you really get that in this beer. It has a very, very kind of clean feel to it, which is nice. Good bit of hoppy bitterness in here. I think you're talking about maybe 60, 70 IBUs, somewhere in that kind of region. So nice little bit of hoppy bitterness to it. Dark fruits, like I was saying, dark in the sense that they're almost a little bit sour on the tropical side of things, and just a nice smooth malt base. Not too much sweetness to this beer. You know, just a very kind of solid, classic old school IPA, this one. So yeah, in terms of tasting, really cool to come back and try one of the first Icelandic beers that I ever had, and it's still holding up good. From what I hear, it is still a little bit of a fan's favourite. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one, and I'll catch you later. Skål! So yeah, Snorri behind the bar very kindly got me one of the cans to have a little look at, because when I first reviewed this beer, this was in a bottle, of course, quite a heavy kind of duty bottle, but there you can see this is the original Tumihumal IPA that you saw me review, and they've been adding the English onto it as well. So in English, this beer is called the Hop Rider. So you might see this one in two ways. So you'll see it Geiringer Tumihumal, or you will see it as the Geiringer Hop Rider IPA. Just a little interesting point there. So yeah, just a little closer look at the tap list for you. So there you can see the Geiringer Waterloo, which is supposed to be a sort of Belgian, slightly more, it's an IPA done with a Belgian yeast, so not quite as strong as a typical Belgian IPA, but it's supposed to be very, very nice. Brugsmedjan, who I'm sure I've tried one of the beers from them before. The original Tumihumal, which you saw me taste. The White Rider Hefeweizen. Brothers Brewery, which is another Icelandic brewery, quite a new one that. The Ghost Rider Stout, which I haven't tried as well, and a few other ones just over here, which is kind of cool too. So the Geiringer, the Pale Rider, which I believe was the green labelled one years ago, if I remember rightly. Geiringer Jön Temelassia Session IPA. Brugsmedjan, another, as I say, another one of their beers that I encountered a couple of years ago, and Geiringer Lone Pine, and Lone Pine Brewery were from the US, and this is a collaboration beer that they did a little while ago, and of course you've got one of the classic Borgs as well. So yeah, just a little bit of a closer look at the tap list for you. So yeah. So yeah guys, this is Snorri, who sorted me out at the bar here. Really nice guy. We sat and talked about lower league football, and he told me a little bit more about Geiringer and stuff. So a lot of the information that you saw in the video is because of this guy kind of refreshing my memory. So if you find yourself in Reykjavik, come and check out Microbar. You know, nice location, nice atmosphere, very chill. I'm here when nobody else is here, so definitely come and check it out. Thank you for your guidance, Snorri. Awesome. Cheers. Slange just now. Skål. Catch you next time. Cheers.